There's a difference between movement and progress. The
Mm,
difference between movement and progress, right? Velocity is speed with direction. You can have speed, but if you're not going in any direction, it's just speed. It's nothing not going anywhere. We're not making progress. But once you have a direction, that's when you have velocity, and that's when you
yeah,
have progress. And so, yes, we could put any of this stuff out there. People can hear it. They can listen. Oh, that's nice, and they can just absorb it. And then if they put no action to it, doesn't turn into no progress. So action is absolutely imperative for progress.
absolutely. Yeah.
He'll probably clip that out now and post that as well as a pearl of wisdom. And so, but it reminded me of what we were talking about last night too, with the intelligence about there's intellect and then there's an intuition.
Well, we were
Um,
talking about what drives a lot of we
Entrepreneurs,
entrepreneurs, investors, or just people in general, and carries them through. And you really have two mechanisms. You have your intellect, and then you have your intuition, and how entrepreneurs rely. And well, I won't say that. I'll just use myself. I rely more on intuition to make my decisions and intellect to support my decisions when they need supported or when they need fixed or altered. And I think one of the big things we were talking about is how people who have they focus too much on intellect, they don't pivot. Like I get 50% the way or 70% the way through an action, and I'm like, oh shit, this is terrible. I can't do this. And so I need to pivot and change point. My intuition allows me to do that and redirect. Intellect
right?
tells you, go on, you made the right choice, keep going, just push through. It's almost there. And so you've got to have both. But I mean, if I had to pick one, I'm picking it.
And that's why AI doesn't necessarily scare me because AI is the intellect side, but AI does not have intuition, and it's the intuition that gets successful people over that hump. It's that gut feeling. It's that sixth sense that they build over time because they're out there doing and in the world and it can get emotional intelligence and develop that sixth sense and intuition. AI doesn't have that. So what AI will
Yeah.
replace is just repetitive process over and over again and just be a glorified encyclopedia.
Yeah. I mean, it's it's just like we were talking last night. I mean, it's you can't you can't replace intuition or gut feeling. And we'll pin it down to the market. The market cycles and changes, but never for the same reasons.
Right.
So intellect will only carry you so far. Yeah, you can know all the data from the prior market cycles, know what happened. It's going to shift, and it won't necessarily be for the same reasons it shifted before. So intellect won't get you. It's those people who have that intuition that say, "This just doesn't feel right," or "I've seen something similar like this, and it played out like this. Let me try it this way." It's those guys that I see doubling and tripling their net worth in down market cycles, not the opposite.
I think that's a big mistake that people make about technology in general. I grew up, before the technology revolution. I'm a little older than you guys, and so I was around before there were cell phones, before there was beepers, and went through
You
this technology revolution. And I, with that,
had a bag phone.
yeah. But they did have color television though when I grew up, so it's not that far back. Uh,
Bill,
and uh,
gotcha.
and and I went, when I went to school, I went for a computer science degree. So I was very heavily involved in the technology before it was embedded in society the way it is. And the big mistake that people make today is that they're whether it's being taught, indoctrination, or just, by osmosis, people feel that technology is there to supplant the human. And that's wrong. Technology is in place in our society to supplement the human, not supplant the human. And when they make the mistake that technology is going to supplant the human, that's where all the misnomers, the mistakes, and the misguidedness comes into play. It will not repl- it'll replace. Go back to the 80s when we were competing with Japan and cars and stuff and assembly lines, right? And there was a big thing even back then about, oh, we're going to put robots on the assembly line. Oh, we're all going to lose our jobs now. The technology is coming, the robots, we're all going to be out of job. No, you're all going to get retrained on how to push the buttons and program the robots and watch the robots do the remedial tasks. And you're all instead of twisting wrenches and pushing wrenches, you're going to start pushing buttons and keyboards, and you still have jobs and get paid better, and the work product will come out even better. So it's an evolution. So while the robots certainly replaced the wrench turning process, it didn't replace the human. It supplemented the human by doing those menial, repetitive tasks more efficiently. And the human had to adjust on how to work the robotics, work the technology, work the software and the programming and stuff. But people weren't replaced, people just evolved. And that's the same thing going on here. Same thing going on here. So we're putting AI into technology and into the world now. It's going to replace some tasks and processes, but it's going to create more jobs and people are going to have to get retrained, and we just evolve, and that's part of the natural evolution. So we've gone through this before. I'm not, and that's what as we were saying before. But AI is not going to change the. So let's go back to the autos again. AI didn't change the designers how to design a car or how to put certain colors together that are attractive to the humans. They can sell more types of cars because of the color of paint that goes on the car. That wasn't changed. So they still need humans to create all these things that go into the technology so that it can do the output and the production. So there's always going to be the input side of technology where the human's always going to be needed for the creativity, for the intuitiveness, for the problem solving, the critical thinking part. There's always going to have to be that component. So technology is there to supplement the human, not supplant the human.